Hello friends, welcome to GoPrep. I am Nirbhay and I welcome you all to one of this most awaited sessions. I can already see a lot of students joining over here. Deepika, Rohan, Arshia, guys, जल्दी से अपने सारे दोस्तों को बुला लो और जुड़ जाओ इस particular session के साथ because today we are going to be live with a maths prodigy. He is a 21-year-old maths genius from Hyderabad. He has broken 4 world records and 50 Limca records to ultimately become the fastest human calculator in the world. He is the first Indian to win the gold medal in the Mental Calculation World Championship, which was held at the Mind Sports Olympics in London. Presenting to you the world's fastest human calculator, Neelkant Bhanu Prakash.
Hello guys, hi.
Here we go.
Hello, hi.
Hi Bhanu, welcome to GoPrep. We are very excited to have you over here as such.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Thanks for the warm welcome. I'm excited to be here too.
Great. So Bhanu, there are thousands of students who are attending, who are currently watching us live, and the students from class 8, 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th. I know in this particular session they are very inquisitive to know about your journey, about how you fell in love with this mathematics subject as such, and would also love to tricks as to how they can improve their calculations and stuff for their school exams and various other activities as such. So guys, I believe this is going to be a very interesting session. And Bhanu, we would all like to know first of all from you, when did you realize your love for mathematics?
Sure. So firstly, thanks a lot for the warm welcome. And yeah, I mean, coming to how did I start liking and loving mathematics? I think the story goes back to 2005 when I met with an accident which changed my life entirely because when I met with this accident, I was bedridden for an entire year. And yeah, I was genuinely into sports and playing outside. And I realized that I could not really go outside because I was bedridden. Puzzles were something which interested me a lot. So over the year, which is from 2005 to 2006, I did so many puzzles and mental math and stuff like this. I mean, I got introduced to the world of mental math. And I realized for me, math was a sport. For me, math was an art form, which I was building as I progressed. And in that sense, for me, I started to learn the world around me through mathematics. And I would say that if there is no one point which I can point out saying that this is the day when I decided this is something which I want to do, but I can say that it was a process which started on the day I met with an accident and I was bedridden for a year. And from there until I became the world's fastest human calculator in 2015 and winning the Olympics in 2020, all the journey, I think, yeah, as you mentioned, my love for mathematics defines it. And for me, math is just not a subject, but an art form and a sport.
Okay, that's great. That's so good, and we all feel proud of you for achieving such a big feat at this very young age, at this age of just 21 years, as which you are currently as, and probably you won a lot of records when you were probably 14, 15, and much younger than this particular.
Yes.
So Bhanu, there is one very special question from one of our students as to how much did you score in class 10th and 12th board exams in mathematics?
I had a perfect 100% score both the times. I mean, in 10th, it was a GPA, right? I had a 10 GPA. And in my boards, I had, I mean, I was,
GPA.
I mean, I had 100 percentage even in terms of the number of marks. So, I mean, I'm not going to convert that because it is different across different boards. But yeah, I scored a full 100% in both the papers of mathematics, which there were.
Great. So this was a very simple question from one of our students as such. So Bhanu, we would also like to know how did you began your journey as a mathematician, and as you have already mentioned regarding the problems which you faced, well, how did it basically started? You met with an accident as such. So have you faced any other problems as such after that particular incident? After you realized your the superpowers, which I would call as such.
All right. I mean, I personally would not call anything which I have come across in my life as a problem. I call it as a hurdle, which I had, sure, but I think I found my way around it. I mean, my journey in becoming the mathematician whom I am today, there are several questions and let's say troubles which I did face, but I think all of these were at the capacity of, let's say, at my discretion whether I would want to fall for it or not. Be it the time when I was actually 14 and I was going for international championships, and a lot of people around me were like, Bhanu, why are you calculating? When you have a calculator, why do you want to calculate? What is the whole point of this? Is there any existential need of what you do? Does this mean anything? And yeah, I mean, for a good brief amount of time, I was away from things because I personally felt that whatever I was doing was deviant from what do we say, commercially utilizable, something which I can use in my days to come. But I think I've come across problems like these, which is criticism from people, which is, what are you going to do eventually? Kya Shakuntala Devi ban jaoge? Kya sort of a narrative from, let's say, my heroes, right? I mean, I've grown as a kid by looking up to several individuals as my role models, and I realized that a lot of people around me were joking around, how would you really be them, or what is the point of all of these? So I think the hurdles were about challenges which I set myself, and then eventually going and sort of establishing it. Although I come from a relatively what do we say, middle class family, so there were times when I had to take a compromise on what competitions to attend, what competitions to not attend. I was selected to be a part of the international delegation in mental math in 2012, but I could not really go until 2013 because I mean, I was not sure whether I'll go win it in the first time. So my family or us were not in a position to go take that bet. And yeah, I mean, coming through the criticism and being encouraged enough to sort of go for what I am, I would say that the challenges which I did face were of existential in nature. And yeah, I mean, today it all seems like a good fairy tale.
So Bhanu, we would all like to have a small maths stunt, which you're basically known for. So I'll just give you some numbers, and we will see. I'll just open my calculator app in my mobile, and we'll just see if you can. Right. So you already are familiar with this particular activity which we do. So I'll just give you some numbers. You'll just have to add them up, and let me see if my calculator is faster than you or not. Okay. So it's a small game as such. So the numbers are 23 plus 45 plus 23 plus 56 plus 36.
That'll be 183.
That's great. That's great. And I was about to enter the equal to side, and you answered well before that. That's great. That's great. And can we have another one? Let's have another one, right? So the another one is, I would request all the audience, I would request all the viewers as well to open their, the calculator app in their mobile and, just play along with us. So the next question is, what is the square of 109?
That'd be 11881. 11,881.
Perfect. That's great. And I would like to pick one question from the comment section as well. One question randomly from the comment section, which I'm getting right now over here. And the question is, which is asked by Shweta over here. The question is, I'll also do it in my calculator. What is 434 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 7?
That'd be 21,266. 434 times 7. The question 434 times 7 would be 3,038. 3,038 times 7 would be 21,266. 21,266. Yeah.
Bhanu, we all would, definitely would like to know ki, bhai, how are you able to do these things? All these 2-3 questions which I have just now asked, what is the recipe behind this one? What is the trick? What is involved behind solving these types of questions?
Cool. So when I look at solving a problem, right? When I look at solving a mathematics problem, the entire idea here is to sort of look at this as something, a challenge, a destination which you have to reach, and there is an amount of work which you need to do when you get there. So if you look at it in terms of a pure challenge, then let's say the first question which we've had, in fact, actually, let's pick the most recent one, which is, I think, 434 times 7 times 7, if I'm not wrong. So 434 times 7 times 7 is where you need to do a 434 times 7, get the answer, and multiply that by a 7 again, right? So The regular school
Yes.
method or any other method which we have been taught of in any walk of life has been majorly on looking at 434 from the right corner to the left corner. And we tell a lot about this, right? I mean, we talk to people and say that we start with 7 times 4, 7 times 3, 7 times 4, and then finally tell the answer. What I basically do is I split the 434 into 400, 30, and 4. Right? When it's 400, it's 2,800. 400 multiplied by 7 is 2,800. 2,800 plus 30 times 7, which is 2,800 plus 210, which is 3,010. 3,010 plus 4 times 7, which is 28, is 3,038. 3,038 is the answer which I have. So the way in which I'm doing this is by exploiting the properties of of numbers called distributive property of multiplication, and by developing a certain amount of cognitive abilities, these fit in very easily. It might sound very tricky when I say, hey, remember 434 times 7 is 400 into 7, which is 2,800, 210, 28. Sounds a little tricky, but if I have to just slightly package this in a different way, and this is something which I go about and talk in every single classroom which I go to, or for that matter in my YouTube or everywhere else, is 434 times 7 is nothing but 4 into 7, which is 28. Step 3 into 7, which is 21. 4 into 4 is 28. So 28, step 21, step 28. 28, step 21, step 28. When I say step, you just add the adjacent digits. The answer will give you a 3,038. Probably take another example sometime later in this conversation, but that's pretty much how I do it. And when in a question like 109 square, if I'm not wrong, right? 109 square.
Yeah.
So to visualize this geometrically, a lot of people would tell you that, hey, let's look at this method. Let's do a plus b whole square. 100 plus 9 into 100 plus 9, which will give you 100 square, 9 square, 2 into 100 into 9. And this is something which you've learned all along. It's not creative enough. But how do I do it? Is that I'll probably ask you, what is the nearest number to 109 which looks good for multiplying? What number would you rather multiply around 109, which is good? The number 109 square is 109 into 109. So can you tell me a number around 109 which is good, which is a good number for us to multiply, a very easy number to multiply?
Maybe 115.
Or 100, if that's okay. 100 is easier, right, to multiply with any other number. 115 is sure is, but what about 100? Do you think 100 is easy to multiply with any number? Let's say 3 times 100. It's easier to do it, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So 109 to 100, how much of a difference there is 9. So 109 minus 9 comes to 100. So if I'm subtracting 9 from one of the number in 109 square, I'll add 9 to the other. So it's 109 multiplied by 109 has been transformed to 100 into 118. Multiply them, that's 11800, but you have missed 9. So 9 square is 81. 11800 plus 81 is 11881. The whole principle of why this works is that if you look at the geometrical significance of what and why what 109 square means, it's that it is 109 by 109 square and its area. So we're just rearranging that into a couple of rectangles and adjusting. What did I do? I took 109 multiplied by 109 and made 109 to 100, the other 109 to 118. So it's 11800 plus 81, which is 11881. So, I mean, in this sense, this, again, at the end of the day, is not a trick. It's not a tip, but it's the way you start thinking mathematically, which will make you devise your own methods. Because at the end of the day, knowing the method is just, okay, I mean, you know the method, sure. But the moment when you can create your own methods is when you're actually a true mathematician. And I think that's what I speak about everywhere I go globally.
Okay, so this trick, this method, which you just now explained to all of us. So, do you practice it on a daily basis, and or maybe to improve your this particular skill access, or what? How do you train yourself? That's my next question.
Cool. So, if I have to put it this way, okay, for me, as I said, math is a sport. So I'm going to compare mathematics with the sport out there. So if you are a physical athlete who runs for a 100-meter race or goes for a 10K run, does a marathon, you might not run the 10K every day, but you sure will exercise every day and be fit, right? So when I look at a calculation, the methods
Definitely.
which I use are okay, but the intrinsic speed which is there is about how you think, right? It's about the number of calculations your brain can do. It's about the number of digits which it can hold. It's about the number of iterations it can do per second. So in that sense, I personally understand from my experience and my sort of discussions and engagement with over 10,000 students in India and abroad, that there are 7 cognitive parameters which are responsible for your quickness in thought, right? Be it computation, be it anything, be it even for that matter, thinking out loud, thinking, reading, assimilation of a reading content. These 7 cognitive parameters are your parameters like fitness, BMI, your fat ratio, your height, your weight, things which determine your physical activity. In a similar sense, these are the things which determine your mental activity. So anything which I do, all my practice every single day is about how I can make myself better in these 7 parameters. The objective might be different, which is to do the mathematical calculation, but to build this is when you have universal application of the same. And that's why, let's say today you're talking, I mean, you've asked me a question, right? What is 23 with something, I don't remember exactly. But for doing a question like that, the way I practice is that, Bhanu, if at all the question is all in front of you, how would you do it? So, I mean, if I have to say it, okay, let's just take a number called 38, right? I'm just going to add 38 to 38 and just train my brain to be quickly iterative. 38 plus 38 is 76. 76 plus 38 is 114. 114 plus 38 is 152. 192, 282, 660, 043, 42, 380, 400, 456, 494, 532, 576, 086, 46, 684, 722, 760, 798, 836, 874, 912, 950, 988, 1026. And I'm going on. Can I really talk to you while I do this on my back? Can I make this much harder than what it is for me? 1178, 1216, 1254, 1292, 1330. And I can continue doing that in my brain, and I can be at 1558, 1596, 1634, 1672, 1710. And yeah, I'm already reaching 50 times there, and 3, 2, 1 now. So to be present with understanding how your brain entirely functions is the way I practice. And the tricks and the methods just fall in place because once you know that, you can use all your abilities which you've built to just implement it.
Okay, so Bhanu, about all of these achievements, we would all like to know, how do your parents and specifically your maths teachers feel about all of these achievements which you have had? So maybe in your schools, what was the response of the teachers about all of these achievements? Maybe in your school, in your college as well.
To be really honest, I mean, my parents and my teachers always knew that I was like doing extremely quick calculations and I had my world records. So I mean, yeah, I got my, let's say, the big break when I was 20 with my Olympic gold medal win. But I've had the world records for 5 years now, which is 3 to 4 years at least for a few records and 5 years for a few. So I mean, I broke the record which was once held by Miss Shakuntala Devi ma'am and Scott Flansburgh in 2015. So I mean, they saw it coming, but obviously, like, it was a really good feeling. And I mean, in general, there is this mockery which goes around my school and parents and everywhere else, which says that okay, I mean, calculation hai, so we'll just say, Bhanu, how do you do this? Can you just get this done? Okay. And my parents are like, okay. Whenever I go out with them, it's still, even today, okay. I mean, so, whatever bill comes in. So yeah.
So there is one very interesting, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there is one very interesting question asked by one of our students over here, that do you use the calculator app in your mobile phone?
On the mobile phone, definitely not. The reason is that, see, okay, halaki, yeah, I understand that doing calculations of your own is a great thing, but I personally have, like, in fact, I've actually given my SAT examinations where the calculator was allowed, but I was like, mujhe nahi leke jana, kyunki, I mean, humne to itne record bana diye, we should not do this, right? I mean, I still do it at times when I'm just a little exhausted, because I'm like, it's not like I wake up to do calculations, but I prefer doing them in my head because it's good brain exercise. So yeah, I don't think my calculator app on my phone has been ever used.
Okay. So you mentioned about Shakuntala Devi ma'am as such, and you know, there are a lot of people who compare you with Shakuntala Devi ma'am as such. So how do you feel about that? And another thing, who do you believe is your role model? Because I'm pretty sure that there are thousands of candidates who are also watching you live as such, and you're a big inspiration for all of them, right? So, who is your role model, and how do you feel about when you get compared with the legends like Shakuntala Devi?
Firstly, it's a blessing in terms of, let's say, I mean, it's great and fantastic to be compared along the lines of someone like Shakuntala Devi ma'am and several other people who are extremely good in what they do. And at such a young age, definitely. I mean, it's a proud moment for me. But I mean, to be really honest, it's about um, how, let's say, for me, these were the people whom I looked up to as a kid, saying that the moment when I discovered my puzzle books and saw that, okay, someone can actually do calculations this quickly, my first question was, how is that possible? Can I do that? Can I really go do that? Because I'm interested in math. I mean, I did my bachelor's in mathematics research. So I'm like, how do I do that? But today, if I'm identified as one among the calculators who have been there historically in the top notch, then yeah, it's definitely a great feeling. Coming to my role models, I've had several, right? Several from several different fields. Shakuntala Devi ma'am definitely was one because she made people out there look up to mathematical shows. There's nothing like it. It's not an easy nut to crack, but she made mathematics a performance art, which I today stand for and I'm continuing in my journey and in sort of making the world understand how it is. There are people like Mr. Scott Flansburgh, whose record I hold today, uh, who have who have done great amount of work in this, which has been inspirational. But I think if I have to point out one single person whose story changed my life entirely, it would be Srinivasa Ramanujan. Although, I mean, it's not really talked about in the non-math circles. There's no one enough close to be called as legendary than Srinivasa Ramanujan itself. And the amount of
Definitely.
work which he's contributed to India, hands down, I think, I mean, even if I can definitely reach out to a fractional part of it, then I think I've done my bit in doing it. But otherwise, people like Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar and a lot of other people from several different sports have inspired me into looking at math, not only from the academic angle, but as a sporting angle, where there can be records and a legacy which can be created.
That's great. That's great. So, few quick questions which I'm getting from the chat box. Their students are, lot of asking a lot of questions over there in the comment section. So, few quick questions as such over here, and this time these might be slightly lengthy as well. Right. So, I'll give you a
Sure.
few more numbers, and let's go with that. Okay. I'll also keep my calculator on as such. I'm
Sure.
definitely
Yeah.
keeping the calculator on as such. So the
Absolutely. Yeah.
numbers are. I'll give you some like 3, 4 questions. Okay. Let's go. Okay. So yes. So the first number is 4567 minus 6543.
That be minus 1976.
That's great. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. The next one. The next one. We'll go with a few more. Okay. So the next one is 398 multiplied by 3.
Oh, that's easy. 1194.
That's great. That's also correct. So a few more, and this is another one that is, let's say, I can read in the chat, that is 678. I was trying to be smart. I was trying to type the numbers before I'm telling you. Okay. Anyway, so the numbers are 678 plus 324 plus 235.
1237.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Okay, just a second. Just a second. So we have 1,000. That's great. That's great. That's great. So see, the question is that yeah, these all these lengthy calculations which the students face in their in their school exams, in their school curriculum in mathematics subjects, class 8, 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So they are kind of have this phobia of this lengthy calculations. Right? They are not very much comfortable with the lengthy calculations. Whenever they face any lengthy calculation, whether it is a question of physics or any other subject, they'll not go ahead with that because they are not very much comfortable. They are very scared of this lengthy question, and just because of that reason, they'll leave the entire question. Right? So what is your one advice for the students as to how to handle all of these lengthy calculations, and how specifically you feel about the lengthy calculation and the lengthy question as such?
Okay. Firstly, lengthy calculations and questions like that has always been music to my ears, right? I mean, That's something which I absolutely loved in every single competitive exam which I've taken part in. I've personally written the JEE, the entrance examinations, the boards, and blah, 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 all of these, right? So I personally think that the reason why there is a general, what do we say, problem with kids actually taking up questions with lengthy calculations. One is the speed, two is the accuracy. Because you're either scared that you'll take a lot of time, two, you're scared that even the lot of time will actually get you to the wrong answer. So there's speed and accuracy, two parts which I'm talking about. So building methodologies which just can help you do this are great, sure. But I think there's one great thing about calculations, which is that if you actually go ahead and do it after you practice it, after you get a skill on it, it's either right or wrong, right? It's simple. It's not as complicated as, let's say, a proof would be. It's not as complicated as an applicational problem would be. I mean, putting it from the 12th and the 11th, 10th perspective, it's not complicated enough. There's no further set of complications except for the calculation by itself. So personally, my take to whomever kids I talk to across the country is that a question with a hefty calculation is free marks, because they're expecting you to just do a set of works which has a said way in which you go. It's not about honing your creative skills, but it's about just being present there and doing the calculation quickly and accurately. So my suggestion for people out there would be that you would ideally be more open to calculation questions the day you realize that you're not bad at them by being accurate. And the only way you can actually go do that is by training yourself and sort of exercising very often on what calculations mean, be it, and just the basics, right? When I talk about calculations, I'm not talking about squares or square roots or things like these. I'm just talking about addition, multiplication, and division and subtraction. These are the four exercises for your brain. I mean, if I have to put it, this is your push-ups, pull-ups, and cardio, which will make you think quicker. And its applications are immense. Once you're good with arithmetic, you're good at thinking quickly, and that translates to any subject which you take. So I think the next time you come across a hefty calculation, tell yourself that you are pretty good at it, hit it heads on, and I think things will change. Your perspective about it will change.
Okay, so we'll do one practice question for all of our students as well. Okay, I'll just give a big question. It's a big question. It's a lengthy one. All the students also to just type down whatever is the final answer, and let's see who can come up with very quick answers and what is the learning of the students as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead with the number. Okay,
cool. Go ahead.
89 plus 98 plus 21 plus 23 plus 45 plus 23 plus 45 plus 57 plus 79 plus 86.
That should be 566.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And what the audience has to respond, I am pretty sure that many of you would have got the correct answers, or maybe close by as well. And we are still getting the answers in the chat box. That's great. That's great. So yeah, so I would like to know what was mindset behind solving this very lengthy calculation. Kya tha? What were you thinking? And what was the trick behind this?
Okay, first of all, when we talk about something like addition, right? Addition is like drawing a straight line from a point to a point. There is no shorter way to do it. You just have to do it as it is. अगर 80 को 90 से add करना है, तो 80 को 90 से add करना है. That's it. That's pretty much it. You can't really change it. But the way in which I solve it is just about aligning my brain in the left to right method. That's the only thing. If I say the direction of calculation is something which changes. So if you can repeat the question again slowly, I'll tell you what the intermediate step at every single point is. If that's okay. Can we start off? I think it was 89 plus.
I'll just repeat the numbers.
89 plus, and whenever I say plus.
Okay, I just repeat the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to repeat the numbers?
No, what I want you to do is tell the first number plus the second number. I will say what's going on in my head. I will say plus again, and then you give me the next number, and we'll go back and forth until we finish the entire calculation, so that we break it down to individual parts.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So can you
start.
Yeah.
So the number is.
Cool. Go ahead. Yeah.
So the first one was plus
89 plus. Go ahead.
98 plus.
Okay. So
21.
89 plus 9. Yeah, cool. I think I'll make you stop there. 89 plus 98. What would that be? 89 plus 90 is 179. 179 plus 8 is 187. I do not care about the two numbers which have already been said. 187 is on my brain. Go ahead. Plus.
Okay. Plus 23.
Okay, so plus 21. 187
plus 45.
21. Yeah, so 187 plus 21 would be 208 because it's 207 plus 1, 208. 208 plus 23 is 228 plus 3, which is 231. Go ahead.
Then plus 45.
231 plus 45 is 231 plus 40 plus 5, which is 271 plus 5, which is 276. Go ahead.
Okay. Then plus 23.
276 plus 23 is 296 plus 3, which is 299. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
299.
Plus 45.
299 plus 40 is 339 plus 5 is 344. Go ahead.
Plus 57.
344 plus 50 is 394 plus 7 is a 401. You can go ahead. Give me, I think there are two more numbers. 401.
Yeah, there are two more. I am surprised. I believe oh my god, this is really amazing, but I'll definitely go with the next two numbers. Then it was plus 79.
401 plus 79, 479. 479 plus 9, which is 480. My answer was 566, so I guess the last number was 86. So 480 plus 86 would be 560 plus 6, which is 566.
Really of this particular part, and I believe so that students are also able to learn this very small trick, right? Probably
so,
now.
Yeah. So I mean, in addition, there is no not a lot for a scope for being creative. So if I have to put it this way, if math and calculations are a sport, addition and multiplication are like running, right? In running, you just have to run. That's it. It's not like cricket where you have your skill, creativity, strategy, and technique, which is there, right? It's just basic running. And in that sense, there's not a lot of tricks which you can use here other than just realigning how your brain thinks. When it comes to things like square or doing multiplication, to a certain extent, things can get creative. So, I mean, if I can break down a multiplication for you, then I think that will be much more beautiful than this addition, because this just calls for bulldozing speed, addition in general. So maybe we can pick a small multiplication up and then take it from there, if that's okay, because I personally think that that's where the learning happens, if we can take some small multiplication.
Okay, so let's do a very multiplication. Let's do one question on multiplication, right?
Sure.
So just to learn that part as well, we have known about the addition. So we multiplication karte hain. Okay, so the question for the multiplication of the two numbers is 9876 multiplied by 5.
Okay, that should be 49,380.
I would like to show it to everyone in the screen as well if it is possible. It's yes, definitely the correct one, 49,380. That's great. So it's multiplication of the two numbers.
So in fact, what we can do here is probably, let's say, what we can do is, let's say, pick any 4-digit number. Can you pick any 4-digit number? Something like 9876. Something which is as big.
Two numbers of them?
4 digits. 4 digits. 4 digits in length. Yeah.
Both the numbers should be of 4 digits, right?
Yes. Both of them should be 4 digits in length. Yes.
Okay. So I'll just okay. So the numbers are 5684 multiplied by 785.
78. Can you repeat the last part? I mean, so 5684 multiplied by
7853.
7853. So 5684 multiplied by 7,853. That would be 397, 39808, 45472, 17052, 17052, 28420. The answer is 44,636,452.
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
Amazing. This is really amazing.
So
shall we try with one more number?
Cool, absolutely. Why not? Go ahead.
And then we will also like to know what was the trick behind this part, right? Definitely.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We cannot leave you without understanding the what goes behind your head.
Yeah, the
What goes
method
inside
to a
your
certain
head
extent.
when you're doing all of these calculations.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the next one, the next numbers, the two numbers, and again they will be like two random numbers, 4-digit numbers. Let me pick this one from the comment section. Okay, let's guys chat में बताओ भाई which two numbers would you want me to give to Bhanu for the multiplication. So I can read in the chat box. Okay, just a second. So I can read in the chat box. The numbers are 9683. I can get the number. The other one is 1259.
1259, and what was the other number?
9683.
9683 1259. So that will be 11331 7554 10072 3777. The answer would be 12,190,897.
That's great. That's great. That's great. And now let us know what is the secret recipe behind this equation. कैसे करते हैं? How do we do it?
So basically, at the end of the day, the whole point is how does your brain think? You have to understand that, and how do you do your calculation? So I'll pick something small. Okay, I'm going to pick something small, but I'm just going to change your perspective towards what multiplication can mean by just revisualizing it in a certain way, right? So, sir, a question is 96 multiplied by 7. Okay, this is a small question which I think a lot of you can answer, right? 96 multiplied by 7. Okay, the school method is 7 multiplied by 6 karo, 2 likho, 4 you carry, 7 multiplied by 9, 63 plus 4, 672. Is this how we do it? This is how we do it. But I'm going to ask you to change your perspective on this a little bit, right? When I say 96 multiplied by 7, so 9 multiplied by 7 kitna hai? What is 9 multiplied by 7?
63.
Yeah, 6 multiplied by 7?
42.
Yeah, so 63 and 42 ऐसे है ना? So 3 and 4 मिला के क्या होगा? बीच में वाले 63, this is 63, this is 42. 3 and 4 मिलके क्या होगा? What is 3 plus 4?
7.
Yeah, so 6. So it's 6, 7, 2. That's it. That's your answer. 63, 42. 3 and 4 को मिलाओ. 672 is your answer. 63, okay. 42. 3 and 4 together is 7. Okay. 672 is your answer. How did you do this? Why does this work? This is not a trick. I mean, if someone tells you, if I tell you that ये trick है, ये मेरा method है, it's just a far because this is how math works, right? So अगर हम 96 multiplied by 7 कर रहे हैं, usually what do? We do 90 multiplied by 7, 6 multiplied by 7. 90 multiplied by 7 होगा कितना? 90 multiplied by 7 होगा कितना? 630, right? 630 and 6 multiplied by 7 is 42. 630 and 42 को मिलाना है. Which is rather tricky because our brain is not trained to remember 3 digits. We are only trained to remember 2 digits. 3 digit remember हम नहीं कर सकते. That's the reason why 630 में 0 जो है, that's not required. So we just left it. So we said 63, 42. They're placed slightly different from each other, and hence we added 3 and 4, which is what would happen if you added 630 to 42. So ideally, we're just optimizing the method. If you have heard of the word optimization, computer scientists do it all the time. They say optimizing a method. This is what you're doing. You're doing brain optimization, where you're saying कि मेरा brain का limitation भाई यार देखो ये है. मेरा brain का limitation 2 digits है. So 2 digits का limitation है तो क्या करना है? 63 step 42, 672. And I can use the same method to do a question which is way bigger than this. Let's say 5284 multiplied by 8. I would go 5284 multiplied by 8 would be 4272. I mean 5228 multiplied by 4 would be 4224. 4224. How am I doing it? 40, 16, 64. I'm combining these two digits here. So I mean, if you did not understand this, the basic idea is that you just take the individual multiplications and join the middle 2 digits, and that works for any multiplication which you take across the world on the way multiplication is defined. And this is not a trick. It's just a way to revisualize the same calculation which you've been doing all along.
So, Bhanu, are you able to? Is there some sort of training you do, or is what exactly is the role of memory in achieving all of these things, and maybe getting so quick in the calculations? Is there any role as such of memory?
So when you say memory, right, it's a huge space by itself.
I mean, some people have that photogenic memory, right?
Cool, I understand. So if I have to get there, photogenic memory is something which I don't relate to because I don't have one. But if I have to talk about memory, इसके चीजें हैं ऐसे कि if I ask you, एक कंप्यूटर है, कंप्यूटर का मेमोरी कहाँ होता है? Where does a computer store its memory?
It stores its memory in its CPU. There is a various devices inside the CPU where it stores its
Done,
memory.
right? So it's hard disk. At the end of the day, I mean, CPU में one part, which is hard disk, or your memory card, or your USB, or your pen drive, or whatever. These are places where you store your memory.
Definitely. It stores the data over there. Huh?
Yes. But what is RAM? RAM is random access memory. For the people who have done computer science
Correct.
or know a little bit about it, RAM क्या होता है? Is where the processes actually happen. यहाँ ये memory है, RAM का भी memory ही बोलते हैं, but it's where processes happen. So it's dynamic. एक static है, एक dynamic है. एक जगह calculations होते हैं, एक जगह बस रहता है. It just stays there, right? So if I have to put it this way, आपका फोन का मेमोरी, आपका फोन का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन बताओ, तो you'll say 4 GB RAM है, 64 GB internal memory है. So you ideally see that RAM internal memory से बहुत कम होता है. That's because the amount of processes you can do in your brain is way lesser than how much you can remember. So मैं आपको पूछूंगा कि आपका phone number क्या है, you'll remember it very easily. But if I tell you multiply my phone number with your phone number, it's not as easy. Reason is that here it's not only about remembering but about calculating, right? So for calculation, you need something called short-term memory. Short-term memory is that अभी आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, right? If I'm given a question, let's say 763 multiplied by 4, right? When I say 763 multiplied by 4, 700 multiplied by 4 is 2,800, 6 multiplied by 4 is 240, 3,040, 3 multiplied by 4 is whatever. I mean, when I'm doing this, there are numbers which I'm remembering before, I'm adding something to it, and I'm remembering the new number, and going ahead. So there are some numbers which I remember beach mein, but I forget them by the end of the calculation. So this is called iterative memory or short-term memory. This is very important for your calculation. The dynamic memory, which is, let's say, कि आपका memory कितना fast change हो सकता है. When I give you a calculation like 53 plus 47 plus 36 क्या है? तो 53 plus 47 100 होगा, 100 plus 36 136 होगा. So for doing this entire thing, you have to remember 100, 36, 136. So remembering this is where memory plays a key role. Long-term memory is an entirely different skill set. So मैंने जो 7 cognitive abilities बताया है ना, जो I say that I personally stand for in whatever works I do in globally about how do we develop these cognitive parameters. In that, long-term memory and short-term memory are different from each other, and short-term memory contributes directly to calculation. Yeah.
Okay. So one quick question. There is one very important advice which our students basically require is that come with this phobia of mathematics in their schools, in the initial stage of the schools. Basically, it's not just about the school students, it's basically about the adults as well, which are very much scared of this mathematics as a तो फिर बस हाथ खड़े हो जाते हैं बहुत सारे बच्चों के, बहुत सारे एडल्ट्स के भी. So one advice from your side, what would you suggest to all the students as such in the initial stage itself, so that they do not start fearing the mathematics as a subject in the school level, loving mathematics, and they can work upon all of these skills as such.
Sure. So personally, according to me, numbers ये जो है is like a language by itself. When I say how many of you are scared of language, कोई हाथ उठाएगा? Usually नहीं है ना. You're not scared of language because कितने लोगों को हिंदी से डर है, कितने लोगों को इंग्लिश से डर है. I mean, it's not as prevalent as math phobia is. The reason is that we learn language in such a way that we understand its applications first. हम समझते हैं कि इससे communicate करना है, इससे communicate करना है, हम poems लिखते हैं, prose सुनते हैं, we understand stories around us, and then we go to grammar. Grammar उसके बाद जाएंगे, समझेंगे कि ये noun है, ये adjective है, ये gerund है, ये to infinitive है, ये simile है, ये metaphor है, जो भी है. Now, in mathematics we do it the other way around. We try learning the grammar first. कि ये algorithm addition के लिए use करेंगे, ये algorithm multiplication के लिए use करेंगे, without understanding why we are building this knowledge to begin with, right? So that's what I call arithmetic. That's something which I call arithmetic literacy. Literacy की जगह arithmetic literacy is something where you understand why you are learning what you're learning. So I think for any kid out there or any parent who's probably watching this, my only request for you would be that get your child understand the applications of mathematics rather than the problem, which is okay. The problem is fine. I mean, the kid will obviously pick it up sometime later in his life. But to have that general inquisitiveness on how this affects the world around me is, I think, a way to get away from the math phobia, because तब आपको समझ आएगा कि math एक individual subject जो नहीं है मैं avoid कर सकता हूँ, but it's prevalent in every part of my journey. In fact, मेरा जो journey है in this, I've seen math in music, I've seen math in art, I've seen math in every single walk of life, and that's the reason why it does not scare me. And for that matter, math is just not for people who take STEM careers, जो science, technology, engineering, mathematics में जा रहे हैं, but also people who take social, scientific, and language-driven careers, because at the end of the day, this builds logic. And the only way I would suggest you, एक ही है, there's no shortcut to this. The only way which you can get out of math phobia is to become friends with it. And the only way you can become friends with it is when you find it relatable and applicable in the world around you, which I personally blog everywhere I go. That's what I talk about. So I think the first step would be to understand the actual applications of mathematics rather than just run around problems or solutions or board marks. Okay, those are consequential. They come, they go, sure. But your general inquisitiveness only builds from your idea of where math is applicable in the world around you. And I would say keep your eyes open, start looking at the world around you, and think of all the mathematical concepts you've talked about, and I think you'll be good to go. And in something sense, like if I have to put it this way, अगर लोग जो देख रहे हैं, equivalent fractions करके, there's something which they teach you in school, right? They tell you that 1/2 is similar to 2/4, is similar to 3/6. All of them are the same. But a practical application of it would be एक पिज्जा में आधा दो, या 4 पीस करके 2 पीस दो, या 6 पीस करके 3 पीस दो. It's still the same amount of pizza you get. And the moment you understand this is when you understand what is the mathematical logic behind it, and then you're not scared anymore.
So basically, students need to start visualizing the numbers and the maths all around them, and also, look out for the applications of the mathematics which they have in their real life and in their daily life access. That's great. Probably this is something very great for all the students, and probably after today, starting from today itself, they'll start visualizing, start working upon this part as well. That's great. So Bhanu, there is one question from the audience as such. They're asking whether do you believe that you are God gifted or you are self-made with hard work? What do you think of yourself? We need an honest answer. We need an honest answer with this point.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, the honest answer is simple. I don't believe that I'm God gifted. I don't think that that skills are something which you're gifted with, and that's just my take on it. I mean, I believe in destiny and other stuff anyway, but I personally don't believe that I've been equipped with the skill when I was born, or something which came to me or occurred naturally to me. Maybe the inclination, sure. I've gotten inclined to mathematics because of several events in my life and stuff like that. But I personally think that what I do can be done by everyone else out there. And I think that's the forerunner of my initiative at large, Exploring Infinities, is to say that every single child can do it. Yeah, sure, you might not want to, right? At the end of the day, sabko calculator ko race nahi karna hai. But if you want to do it, you can do it. In fact, I've been training a few people to actually go ahead and see. And I hope, hopefully down the line, there'll be a lot more people who do this. I've put enough effort into it to come to where I am. But if someone else puts the same amount of effort, they can come to where I am today. Sure.
So we would like to know more about your family. Is there anyone else in your family as well who has these precious skills like yours, and probably you have inherited all of those skills from them? Is that so? Is there anything like that associated with your family as such? Maybe with your parents. What do your parents do?
Okay, my dad is my dad and mom, they own a small food tech business in India, in Hyderabad. They're into manufacturing chocolate sauces and sweet tooth items, basically jams, ketchups, and stuff like that. My mom and dad are both biology graduates. They have deviated from math right after 10th grade because they thought that was not their forte. To be like, putting it funnily out there, I don't have anyone who's taken math in my close family circle. Nowhere close. I mean, everyone's like, math se bahut dar hai, humko karna hi nahi hai. So in that sense, I don't think so. But although I did understand that the acumen has been there, although it's probably not been rooted into let's say academic perspectives per se. So yeah.
So Bhanu, one quick question. We have interacted for something around 40 minutes so far. Okay. So can you just quickly let us know For how many seconds have you interacted so far? It's assuming 40 minutes. 40 minutes.
Yeah,
How
I
many
mean,
seconds have you interacted so far?
I think it has been 40 minutes, 36 seconds, right? So that would be 2436, 2436 seconds. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Okay,
should be 2436 seconds.
that's great. That's great for all of us. That's amazing. That's amazing. So was that also going behind your head? मतलब आपके सर में ऐसा दिमाग में चल रहा था क्या? For how many seconds have you
Depends. I
interacted?
mean, so depends,
Question to
right?
know.
Depends on, let's say, I mean, right now, sure. I mean, ठीक है. ये conference call है जहाँ I'm being aware, but it's about telling yourself before itself. It's not like I can do it right now. Okay, अब पूछे. So when I was obviously keeping account of it, track of it, probably something like that, right? So I mean, when I'm talking to you right now, I mean, a good example of parallel thinking would be, let's say मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, पर मैं 76 की table अंदर कर रहा हूँ. So I'm at 228, 304, 380, 456, 532. पर आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ. I'll continue to do this, but I'm at 836, 912, 988, 1064, 1140. And it has been 12, 13, 14 seconds since, but I'm at 1596, 1672, 1748, 1824, 1900. How is this possible? It's that I'm doing three things. I'm talking to you, I'm keeping a track of time, and I'm also doing calculations, which is a 2, 3, 5, 6, 2, 4, 3 to 2508, 19 seconds since. So, I mean, it's possible for human beings to do this as long as you're conscious and want to do it. And yeah, there are methods in which you can partition your brain into 2 or 3 different halves where you can have independent processes going on 37 seconds since, and I am at 3876.
Great. So a lot of learnings for all of our students over here who are attending this particular session in the GoPrep platform. जो भी बताया दिया, बहुत सारी चीजें मैंने भी सीखी, students ने भी सीखी, and even if there are any teachers who are attending this particular session, definitely a lot of learning for them as well with respect to how they must, start teaching, and for the students as to how they must start learning the things as such. Visualize करो, application देखो real life में, and various other things. Bhanu, any message for our GoPrep students at the end? What message would you like to give us to all the students as such over here?
I personally think that that ठीक है. I mean, I understand that math is usually the uncool subject, but I mean, I would say that ठीक है. My journey speaks that you can be cool and also do math in a good way. Sure. So my communication here would be that math is fun. Math is fun, and math is fun when it's beyond the books. The books are great. The books will make you go progress in your life, but your interest lies beyond, right? Just like how your interest in the language and literature in English comes from your reading of books or your the way you watch movies or go through classics. In a similar sense, maths can be something which you can get super interested in by looking at the world around you. And I would say start doing that. Maybe you can look into, let's say, what I do, how I go across, and something which I personally do, which is I post one application of mathematics in the world around me. Like, I'm cooking paneer 65 today. Then I'll probably go about the entire intrinsic details of how the recipes, how the ratios of the recipes are, what stuff here, what is going on in my head while I'm doing this, and stuff like this, which sort of tells you that this is a subject which can be found in every place around you. And to be more connected to the world around you through mathematics just gives you another glass to look at the world. You look at the world through language, you can look at the world through maths, and I think you're a super genius then, and there's nothing which stops you by. So to all the GoPrep students, I would say that math is fun, and hopefully in the days to come, there'll be a lot more, which I personally do in changing the way you look at math in the world around you. And in the mission of promoting mental math and calculations as a sport, if that goes big, I'm sure that this is a place where you will also find a lot of engagement in. So bottom line, math is fun. Math is not boring when you look at it from the non-academic angles. And once you start applying to the world around you and look at its applications, it's one of the most beautiful things which there has ever been. Because I fundamentally believe that there have been only two subjects which are intrinsic to human beings when they have come to the earth, which is one, language. The number two is numeracy, literacy and numeracy, numbers and language. So rest all is something which you use a combination of these to eventually go visualize. So yeah, my take would be enjoy it, learn the experience, and most importantly, try looking at the applications in the world around you, and then math will be a very good friend.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us today, Bhanu. and I believe so all of the students, all of our viewers also definitely got to learn a lot with the small tricks which showed all of us while solving the questions कि कैसे questions को solve करना है. I'm pretty sure कि सारे बच्चे काफी ज्यादा और ज्यादा inspire हुए होंगे from your journey, from your methods which you have shared with all of us. Thank you so much, Bhanu, for spending this your precious time with all of us over here. All the best and thank you.